Please be seated. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Professor Dwayne Seppi, the Richard C. Green Professor of Finance and the Senior Associate Dean for Faculty at the Tepper School of Business. It is great to see so many of you in attendance this afternoon. Lots of smiling faces of our graduates, family members, and friends. In addition to the Ph.D. degrees being conferred and the Ph.D. students being hooded by their advisors, today's ceremony also includes the awarding of Masters in Science diplomas to the students who have passed the milestone of what is known in the program as the third semester review. To the class of 2025, you have worked very hard over the past years and throughout your time at the Tepper School of Business. You have shown remarkable dedication, insight, commitment, and have succeeded at one of the most distinguished doctoral programs in the world. Your contributions have strengthened the school and will have a lasting impact on your fields of research. You have been an inspiration to all of us, and for that we are truly grateful. At this time, I ask the audience to join me in giving the class of 2025 their first round of applause to celebrate this important event in their academic lives. And because no one achieves greatness alone, I would also like to congratulate our graduates' parents, partners, family members, friends, and guests. Our students well know that they would not be here without the sacrifice, encouragement, and support that you have given them over the years. With that, I would like to ask the class of 2025 to join in a round of applause for those who helped make this day possible for them. Class of 2025, we know that the faculty and staff here at the Tepper School played an important role in your experience and success. I would like to thank those who are here with us today. Will the faculty and staff on the stage and in the audience please rise? Thank you. The Ph.D. program at the Tepper School has a legacy. For example, 4 of our Ph.D. alumni have received the Nobel Prize in Economics: Dale Mortensen, Oliver Williamson, Edward Prescott, and Finn Kidlin. So, no pressure. Our speaker today, Brett Gordon, earned 4 degrees from Carnegie Mellon: a bachelor's, 2 master's degree, and a Ph.D. in economics. Dr. Gordon will be introduced formally later in the program. Class of 2025, we are delighted to have you join this distinguished and impactful community of scholars. Doctoral candidates, esteemed colleagues, distinguished guests, it is now my distinct pleasure to introduce our dean. Dr. Isabelle Bajou is a widely regarded leader in academia, finance, and in interdisciplinary education. She joined the Tepper School of Business in the fall of 2020 from McGill University in Montreal, where she had been the dean of the Desautels Faculty of Management. Born in Paris, she holds a doctorate in mathematics applied to economics from the University of Paris Dauphine. Her leadership at the Tepper School has been characterized by an emphasis on interdisciplinary education and collaborative research. As you become alumni of the school, we hope you will continue to follow the research being done here and further our school's research legacy. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to the Dean of the Tepper School of Business and the Richard P. Simmons Professor of Finance, Dr. Isabelle Bajou.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Professor Seppi, for that gracious introduction. It is a pleasure for me to be here to recognize the 2025 graduates of our doctoral program. Today, we celebrate the culmination of your hard work, and dedication to your studies. Carnegie Mellon places great value on our Ph.D. program and research. Here at the Tepper School, our doctoral students engage in intensive collaboration with faculty, delving into research questions that reverberate far beyond the boundaries of the business world. I can tell you for certain that our program is quite rigorous, and that those of you we are honoring today have worked extremely hard to meet our stringent demands. You often juggle multiple research projects, served as teaching assistants and course instructors, and presented your work at professional conferences. For those who are graduating from our doctoral program, these also included proposing and defending your dissertations. Here at the Tepper School, our doctoral students engage in intensive collaboration with faculty. Our PhD graduates go on to pursue amazing careers. They become professors and deans at top-ranked business schools, entrepreneurs, industry leaders, distinguished public servants. Some are even awarded Nobel Prizes. Before I invite our guest speaker, Professor Brett Gordon, to the podium, I want to leave you with the inspiring words of Andrew Carnegie. Think of yourself on the threshold of unparalleled success. A whole, clear, glorious life lies before you. Carnegie's first point: you should view yourself on the threshold of unparalleled success, is a powerful reminder that you are prepared to achieve remarkable success. Do not dwell on past setbacks. See the moment on a starting point for your potential greatness. Secondly, a whole, clear, glorious life lies before you. Paints a picture of a future filled with promise. Regardless of your path, your potential for greatness is within reach, waiting to be seized through determination. As you live here, I hope you take with you the skills you have gained and continue to ask hard questions and seek out the answers that will make for the betterment of society. I want you to be proud of what you have accomplished and even more proud of what you will accomplish. I offer my congratulations to each one of you and those who supported you along your journey and your graduation from the Tepper School of Business. For those of you receiving your doctoral degrees, we wish you the best in your careers and in your lives. And please stay connected with each other, with the Tepper School, and with Carnegie Mellon University. It is my honor now to introduce our guest speaker this evening, Professor Brett Gordon. Dr. Gordon is the Charles H. Kellstadt Professor of Marketing at Kellogg School of Management, with a distinguished research record in pricing, advertising, and competitive strategy. Dr. Gordon is a distinguished alumnus of Carnegie Mellon University, where he earned his PhD in economics and a master's degree in information systems management. Additionally, he holds a Bachelor of Science in Information Systems from Carnegie Mellon University. He is a multiple award-winning scholar with publications in top journals like the American Economic Review and Marketing Science. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Dr. Brett Gordon.
Thank you, Dean Paju, for that introduction. Thank you all for having me here. Thank you, faculty, staff, and students, and especially the graduates. Congratulations on your amazing achievement. You haven't begun to realize yet all that you have achieved. It'll take some time, I think, with hindsight to recognize that. So what I wanted to do is I was asked to reflect on my journey since getting my PhD and thinking about what advice or perspectives I could offer. And so I'm actually going to start with a slightly awkward story. Okay, so let me take you back to 2002. I was a first-year PhD student. This is before social media had even been invented. And I was taking my first-year macroeconomics class with Ben McCallum. All I really knew about macro at that time was graphs with lines that moved up and down and left and right. And so taking a class, a first-year macro class in a grad program was quite a shock to me. And we were learning about optimal monetary policy and minimum state variable solutions and dynamic stability. And it was out of my league. I didn't actually know much about this, and I didn't know where to start. So I did what I thought grad students were supposed to do. I organized a study group. And so I got 5 other students, first years, and we met in a room in Posner Hall, and it was great. I learned some of the tricks that they already knew. They had seen some of these problems before in master's programs, and it was very helpful, and I learned how to do the assignments that way. So that was the first week, and I arranged for another meeting of the study group the next week to work on the next problem assignment, and I showed up a little early to that meeting. And I waited, and no one else showed up. And I wondered, did I have the wrong time? Was there a miscommunication? But I realized eventually that they didn't show up because they didn't need to. So they had decided that they already knew how to do the assignments, and they didn't need to help me. And so frankly, I was a waste of their time, actually. Now, this realization as a first-year student, it hit me like a ton of bricks, which is equivalent, as many of the students here know, to 1 Mascalel, Winston, and Green. But it made me question, should I really do this whole PhD thing? Was I really cut out for this? And eventually, obviously, I'm here today, so it all worked out. I passed the macro class, I figured out the homeworks, I passed the macro class, did okay on the prelim, and I'm okay. So why did I tell you this little bit embarrassing story? Okay, I want to make 3 points kind of from it. Okay, so the first point is you will have various kinds of challenges in your career, some that you're very familiar with, some that are new to you. And for the PhDs, especially here today, with the almost PhDs here today, I have no doubt that you'll succeed because you have a PhD. And as doing a PhD, you learn how to solve complex, ill-defined problems. You learn many tools for doing so. So you'll succeed. But the key point actually is that I think the more valuable skill that you learn as a PhD, as a graduate, is not about solving the problems, but more about defining the problems to be solved. Okay? So a few years ago, I started working 1 day a week at Amazon in a role known as an Amazon scholar, working on kind of academic adjacent problems. And I noticed that there were a lot of PhDs in senior business roles, leading large organizations, in fact. And this seemed surprising to me. I didn't normally think of people with PhDs well suited for that kind of a role. And I asked a senior economist there why this was the case. And he said, PhDs excel at asking the right questions and at defining the problems. And at a senior level, that's what's more important. So I think this skill is really crucial, and it will take you everywhere. It's important everywhere in academics and industry and otherwise to ask the right questions and choose what to work on more so than actually knowing how to figure it out. You'll know how to figure out. You have lots of tools you've learned about, but choosing what to work on, what questions and why is actually far more important. Okay? So you have great tools. You have an ability to solve problems. What about success? How will you be successful? So my second point is I want to dispel what I think is a common misconception about what makes you successful. I think in grad school, a lot of people come into grad school thinking they need to collect technical skills, being very good at math or algorithms or coding. And that's clearly very helpful. You want to have technical skills. But what actually helps you succeed are a large set of skills that you aren't really taught in any school. So skills like, You're going to need to be, creative, to come up with new ideas and to be intellectually curious to do that. You're going to need to have great communication skills to persuade people about why your ideas are so good and to also build your reputation. You're going to need humility because you're going to need to ask for help sometimes, and you have to act on that help that you get. You'll also need grit because you will have to work on things for days and months and years, revision after revision sometimes. And I think maybe the most important skill actually is resilience, because inevitably you will have setbacks. Okay? Your people won't show up to your study group, your code won't run, your seminar will flop, and your revision will get rejected again and again. Okay? And you need to bounce back from that, pick yourself up, and keep going. And you need to laugh it off a little bit too. So when I was an early faculty, I was working on getting my job market paper published, and a paper based on my job market paper published. And I was coding up a model, and this was a dynamic multi-agent equilibrium model, which I think is maybe the only time that phrase has ever been uttered in a graduation speech before. So I was working on this, and I kept on getting kind of nonsensical output from the model. And I suspected there was an error, but there was nothing was screaming that it was wrong. It just didn't make any sense. And I worked on this for days and days, nothing but this. And after a week, I finally figured it out. The error was I had typed a 1 somewhere where I meant to type a lowercase l. And in the software I was using, those looked basically identical to me visually. Once I fixed it, everything worked. But that was a week completely of my life on that problem. So what can you do? You laugh it off. You go out and you keep on going. And I think it's important to celebrate victories, both large and small. So I think I celebrated that victory by going to the Sushi 2 in Shadyside for dinner. And I think I probably got some kind of a baked good from the coffee tree down the street as well to celebrate. So persisting and moving forward is very important. You'll need to do the same. The third point I want to make is about growth. Okay, so if you think back to when you were a first-year student, think back to kind of what you thought you knew at that time, and you probably can recognize now that you know a lot more now, right? But you're not done growing yet. And you want to set yourself up to grow in the decades to come. And yes, I said decades. Okay. So how do you do that? I think you can probably get a sense that, or agree that you don't grow by making it easy for you. You grow when you are uncomfortable. Okay? So I think you need to actually place yourself in uncomfortable situations to help move you forward so that you do grow. Okay? It's only when you're uncomfortable that you kind of do experience that. So as a small example, when I was a new faculty member at Columbia, I was asked to moderate a business panel at a conference on branding. Okay? And I had never moderated a panel before, and I didn't know much about branding. This was in 2007, so my expertise in branding was, just put a little I in front of the name. Seemed okay. And the people on the panel had titles like vice president of this and senior director of that, and it was very intimidating, and I didn't know what to do. I asked a senior colleague, what should I do? And he said, what, they didn't teach you about panel moderation in your grad micro class? Go figure it out. And so I figured it out, and I learned that not only can I code up dynamic multi-agent equilibrium models, but I can also moderate a panel too. And you'll figure it out too. You'll figure out these kinds of problems, but you need to put yourself in an uncomfortable situation first to be able to experience that growth. It's one of the main reasons why I decided to do some work at Amazon a few years ago. So I joined 4 years ago, and I started after I got full professor. And at that time, I said, I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with research. I feel like I'm pretty comfortable with teaching, advising students. And that felt a little bit nervous to me. I didn't want to feel so comfortable. I felt like I needed to keep growing. And so this was me stepping outside of my comfort zone. And it's been very fulfilling. I've gotten to think about how to frame entirely different kinds of problems facing different kinds of constraints. And I took a model that I had worked on and scaled it literally 1,000-fold to kind of be implemented at Amazon. And so my reminder to you is that you have many skills now, but you need to keep on pushing yourself. Don't get too comfortable, okay? Embrace the discomfort. And don't worry if no one shows up to your study group, real or metaphorical. You'll be fine. You have a PhD. So, or almost you have a PhD. So that's all. Thank you very much for letting me be here and talk to you. Congratulations again.
Well, thank you so much for these words of resilience. We're experiencing a time in universities where resilience becomes even more important than ever. On behalf of the graduates, their guests, and the Tepper School of Business faculty and staff, I would like to thank you, Dr. Gordon, for being here with us today. And I would like to present you with the Tepper School of Business Award for Distinguished Alumni Speaker. We're pleased to honor your success and accomplishments. That's for you. Thank you so much. That's you.
Every year, our program presents 3 awards at graduation honoring outstanding work on a doctoral dissertation. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Alan Schellerwolf, the Richard M. Seiert Professor of Operations Management and head of the Ph.D. program, to the podium to announce this year's Ph.D. Dissertation Awards. When your name is announced, please make your way to the center podium to receive your award.
Thank you, Dwayne. The William W. Cooper Doctoral Dissertation Award in Management or Management Science is awarded to a student in any college of Carnegie Mellon University whose dissertation deals with issues and problems in management or management science. This year's committee, chaired by Professor Burton Holofield, is pleased to congratulate J.P.L. Lee. The Herbert A. Simon Doctoral Dissertation Award in Behavioral Research in the Administrative Sciences is given for an outstanding dissertation completed at Carnegie Mellon University in behavioral science research applied to problems of administrative behavior. This year's committee, chaired by Professor Catherine Shea, is pleased to congratulate Behnam Monamati. Cheers from the crowd. The Gerald L. Thompson Doctoral Dissertation Award in Management Science is given for an outstanding dissertation completed at Carnegie Mellon University in management science research involving theoretical, computational, or applied contributions. This year's committee, chaired by Professor Ben Mosley, is pleased to congratulate Anthony Carajalios. Please join me in congratulating all of the awardees. As Dean Bajou mentioned, the awarding of the Master of Science degree is an important milestone in our program. At this point, students have largely completed their coursework, have completed their first-year research paper, and have passed a series of qualifying exams in their area of study. Although it might seem to anyone outside the program this would be a time to relax and take a break, that's not the case. Most of these students are working already on their second-year research paper. That's why we call it a milestone. It's a very important marker on the road that is still several years long. And so we're happy to celebrate this momentous occasion. Will the students receiving their Master of Science degree please rise and approach the stage? Once your name is called, please meet Professor Seppi on stage for the acknowledgement of your degree. I can't see.
Chen Ding. Shufei Gao. Jiaming Zhang. Aditya Kiran. David Lee. Helia Niaparast. Sofia Rodriguez Chavez. Sadiq Salimi. Alexander Williams. Sihan Ju. Jisoo Hyun.
Let's again congratulate all the graduates. As we transition to the awarding of the doctoral diplomas and ceremonial hooding, I'm reminded this is the culmination of years of hard work and sacrifice. I hope it's been an amazing journey for you all. You should take the time to reflect on all that you've learned, the many people you've met, the lifelong relationships you've built here at the Tepper School. Today is certainly a day of celebration, but of course, it's also a time of transition. There's much for you still to accomplish in your career and your life. The rigorous preparation you've experienced over these past years will provide a strong foundation for your future. Throughout the school's history, starting as the Graduate School of Industrial Administration, we've seen our graduates achieving great success. We take great pride in the accomplishment of our graduates, and we have high expectations for what each of you will attain in your careers. We invite each doctoral candidate, as their name is read, to make their way to the stage to receive their scroll and then be hooded by their advisor. The hooding is a long-standing academic tradition where the doctoral student first receives his or her hood. This is normally done by the student's advisor or academic mentor. It signifies and celebrates the culmination of a long and successful collaboration, which has finally led to the doctoral degree.
Jason Gates. Essays in Labor Economics. Jason will now be hooded by his advisor, Professor Rebecca Lessem. Nicholas Hoffman. Wealth, Returns, and Economic Policy. He will now be hooded by Professor Ali Shurideh. Anthony Karahalios. Column elimination, iterative refinement for solving arc flow formulations. Anthony will be hooded by his advisor, Professor Willem-Jan van Heuve. J.P.L. Lee. Essays on dynamic discrete choice models and their applications. J.P.L. will be hooded by Professor Rebecca Lessem. Taking photos? Martin Michelini. Essays on dynamic discrete choice economies. He will be hooded by Professor Ali Shuraday. Benem Mohammadi. Human-AI interaction in the age of large language models. Benem will be hooded by Professor Tim Derdinger, his advisor. Angela Tsien Chow. Essays on the consumer journey of goal planning and goal pursuit. Angela will be hooded by Professor Joy Liu.
We jumped ahead.
Our doctoral students have worked hard for many years towards this degree, 5 years, 6 years, longer. Distinguished guests, would you please join me in congratulating all of the new doctors? So I imagine that you would like to have the actual diploma as well as the scroll. So all of the graduates should stop at the table outside in the lobby to collect their actual diplomas. Once again, to our graduates, congratulations. It has been a pleasure to have all of you here with us today, and we welcome you to continue celebrating with a reception on the 4th floor of this building. As you exit, we will have staff helping to direct you to room 4242 on the 4th floor of this building. As we conclude the ceremony, we ask that the audience remain seated until the faculty and the graduates have processed out. Thank you.